Ifeoma's eyes sparkled with excitement as she bounced into the bustling kitchen. The 6-year-old Nigerian girl's dark brown skin glowed in the warm light streaming through the window. Her short black hair, adorned with colorful beads that clicked softly as she moved, framed her bright brown eyes. Ifeoma's bright Ankara fabric dress swished around her legs as she twirled, taking in the delicious aromas filling the air. "Mama, can I help with the Kwanzaa feast?" Ifeoma asked eagerly, her voice filled with enthusiasm. Her mother, a tall woman with similar features to Ifeoma, turned from the stove with a warm smile. "Of course, my little chef," she replied, wiping her hands on her apron. "Come, let's start with the jollof rice." Ifeoma clapped her hands with joy and scurried to wash her hands in the sink. The kitchen was alive with activity, pots bubbling on the stove and family members chatting as they chopped vegetables and prepared ingredients. The air was thick with the scent of spices and the sound of laughter. Ifeoma's older brother, Chidi, was carefully slicing plantains at the counter, while her father stirred a large pot of aromatic stew. "First, we need to rinse the rice," Mama explained, guiding Ifeoma to a large bowl filled with grains. Ifeoma dipped her small hands into the cool water, giggling as the rice slipped through her fingers. "Like this, Mama?" she asked, swirling the water gently. "Perfect, my dear," Mama praised, her eyes crinkling with pride. As they worked, Mama began to hum a traditional Nigerian song. Ifeoma joined in, her young voice blending sweetly with her mother's. Soon, the entire kitchen was filled with music as everyone sang along. The melody seemed to make the food smell even more delicious, and Ifeoma felt her tummy rumble with anticipation. "Now, let's add the tomatoes and peppers," Mama instructed, handing Ifeoma a wooden spoon. Ifeoma carefully stirred the vibrant red mixture into the rice, watching in awe as the grains took on a beautiful orange hue. "It's like magic," she exclaimed, her eyes wide with wonder. Mama chuckled, "Cooking is a special kind of magic, Ifeoma. It brings people together." As the jollof rice simmered, Ifeoma moved to help her father with the stew. He lifted her onto a stool so she could see into the pot. "What do you think it needs, little one?" he asked, his deep voice warm with affection. Ifeoma sniffed the air thoughtfully, then declared, "More pepper, Baba." Her father laughed heartily, sprinkling in a bit more seasoning. The kitchen was filled with the sounds of chopping, stirring, and sizzling. Ifeoma's aunt arrived, carrying a large bowl of fresh fruits for the feast. "Ah, my little helper is here," she exclaimed, ruffling Ifeoma's beaded hair. Ifeoma beamed with pride, feeling like an important part of the preparations. As the day progressed, more family members and friends arrived, each bringing a dish to contribute to the Kwanzaa feast. Ifeoma greeted everyone with enthusiasm, proudly telling them about her role in cooking the jollof rice. The kitchen became crowded but cozy, filled with warmth and laughter. Finally, it was time to set the table. Ifeoma carefully placed the colorful kente cloth on the dining table, smoothing out the wrinkles with her small hands. She helped arrange the kinara, the special candle holder for Kwanzaa, in the center of the table. Her brother Chidi showed her how to place the candles, 3 red, 3 green, and 1 black. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow through the windows, the family gathered around the table. Ifeoma's eyes widened at the sight of all the delicious food, fragrant jollof rice, steaming stew, crispy plantains, and so much more. Her stomach growled loudly, making everyone laugh. Before they began eating, Ifeoma's grandfather stood up to speak. His wrinkled face was kind as he looked around the table. "Today, we celebrate our heritage and our unity," he said, his voice strong despite his age. "Let us remember the principles of Kwanzaa as we share this meal together." Ifeoma listened intently, feeling a sense of pride in her family and culture. As they began to eat, the room filled with the sounds of clinking cutlery and happy conversation. Ifeoma tasted the jollof rice she had helped make, her face lighting up with joy at the delicious flavor. "It's so good, Mama!" she exclaimed, her mouth full. Her mother smiled warmly, "That's because you made it with love, Ifeoma." As the feast continued late into the evening, Ifeoma felt a warmth in her heart that matched the coziness of the kitchen. She looked around at her family and friends, all brought together by this special meal. In that moment, she understood what her mother meant about the magic of cooking. It wasn't just about the food, it was about the love, tradition, and togetherness that went into every dish. Ifeoma knew that she would always cherish these moments, and she couldn't wait for next year's Kwanzaa feast.